Jill. Hello, Ricky.
Hello, Rachel. Hello, Ruffles. Hello, Rachel. And of course, hello to Ruffle.
Oh, it's really great to see you today. So, we've come to the little station where Ruffle's adventures take place. And today, we're going to be learning about first aid skills. And we'd like you, Jill and Ricky, to help teach those first aid skills. Would that be okay?
Yes, of course. That would be awesome.
Good. So, before we would go near anybody to help them, do you know what we would look for first?
Danger. We must check if it's safe for us to go near the person.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Now, looking around the platform, can you see any points that might be dangerous or dangerous places?
There's an obvious one. The train tracks. Don't go too near or else you'll fall onto the rails. Yes, and stand back when the train's coming.
Absolutely. And if you were going to cross the train line, you would use a special crossing, like the one down there. And what about anywhere else on the station?
I know, the cafe. There might be electrical items in there.
Good. And also we have to be careful if there are animals involved, because even Ruffle here might act differently if I was hurt and might not let you get near me. So, if we had an emergency, do you know the number to call? Did you know that the number to call for emergencies is 999? When the call is answered, the person at the other end will ask if you need fire, police or ambulance. Remember to keep calm and ask for the one you need. For our first aid emergencies, we would ask for ambulance. The ambulance control person will ask you if the person is awake or not, and if they are breathing. This is to see if they need immediate help or not. If they're awake, then they will ask you to explain what had happened, who you are, and help you undertake any first aid. You would then follow the instructions they give to you. They no longer ask you where you are, as they now know this from your telephone call, but they may ask you to send someone to open the door, or perhaps to the end of the road to wave down the ambulance when it arrives. If you had a mobile phone, you could also call 112 for the emergency services. Do you know which other emergency service you could ask for if you need help near the coast or at the seaside? If you were near the seaside or the coast, do you know who you would call then? You'd call 999 or 112 and ask for the Coast Guard. And if you were in the mountains and there was an emergency, you'd dial 999 or 112 and ask for mountain rescue. There aren't many mountains around here, but it's always good to know the different emergency services to ask for. Possibly one of the most common injuries is a burn, including from steam, which is very hot. If someone has suffered a burn, remember to keep them calm and get them to put their hand under cold water. Just a steady flow of water, not too strong. The cold water will cool the burn down and help with the pain. Do you know how long you should cool a burn under cold running water for? You should keep the burn under running water for 20 minutes. If you don't have a tap nearby, you could gently pour clean water from a bottle over it. If the area of the burn is bigger than the person's hand or to a child, you must tell an adult and call 999. This next first aid scene explains what to do if someone is choking. If you think the person is choking, first get them to try and speak. If they can't speak, tell them to try and cough. Do you know what to do next? The person choking should lean forward. Then holding your palm facing the person's back, hit them firmly with the base of your palm, the heel, at least 5 times, aiming just below the shoulder blades. Remember to check each time you hit their back to see if whatever they are choking on has come out. If hitting someone hard on the back doesn't clear the food or object the person is choking on, you must call for an ambulance and quickly find an adult to help. An adult will be able to do tummy thrusts. If the person continues to choke, they could stop breathing and need chest compressions. So it's important to get help, and quickly. The next first aid skill we're going to think about is if someone has a cut. First, make sure there's nothing in the wound, then clean it by gently running some water over, either from a tap or a bottle. If the bleeding stops quite quickly and the cut isn't too deep, you could put a plaster on it. Check first that the person isn't allergic to plasters. If the cut was deep and doesn't stop bleeding after cleaning, check there's nothing in the cut, then press down firmly on the cut with a clean cloth to try and stop the bleeding. You could then wrap a clean towel or padded wound dressing around the wound until they get to hospital. Have you ever had a nosebleed? If so, do you remember what to do to try and stop it? The person with a nosebleed should tilt their head forward slightly. Very gently pinch the soft part of their nose for 10 minutes. The soft part is about halfway up your nose. See if you can feel that on your own nose. If the nosebleed hasn't stopped after 20 minutes, tell an adult and call 999. What if someone has broken a bone? What would you do? If an arm or leg is broken, it will either be swollen around the break and probably bruised, or it may look out of shape. The break may even be showing through the skin. If you think someone has broken a bone, it's important to keep them calm, as they'd probably be in pain and probably feeling very scared. The person who has been hurt should keep still. Sit next to the person and speak to them in a calm, quiet voice. You could also help to keep them comfortable by putting cushions or something similar very carefully around the leg or arm to support it. Or to support a broken arm, the person could carefully put their arm in their clothes, a bit like Nelson or Napoleon. You must tell an adult and call an ambulance, especially if you think a leg is broken. But these scenes are all made up, so thankfully, everyone is okay. You may have to put someone in the recovery or sleeping position to keep them safe until an ambulance arrives. First, remember to check that the area is safe for you to enter. Then shout loudly to the person to see if they answer. Remember to shout in both ears in case they're deaf in one ear. You should also shake them at the shoulder to try and get a response. Then check that the person is breathing by looking to see if their chest is moving up and down. You could also put your face close to the person's face to see if you can feel any breath coming from their mouth or nose. If they aren't breathing, you would have to start chest compressions, but we'll talk about that later. So the person is breathing and needs to be placed into the recovery or sleeping position. With the person lying on their back and you kneeling at their side, put their nearest arm by their side. Take the arm furthest away from you and place their hand next to their ear nearest to you, so that their arm is crossing their body. Lift their far leg into an upside down V position with the knee up. Hold that knee and pull towards you so their body rolls over towards you and they end up lying on their side. Cover them with a blanket or coat to keep them warm. Call 999 and tell an adult. Our last first aid skill is a very important skill and one that everyone can do and could even save a life. Do you remember how we would have checked if the person was breathing before putting the person into the recovery position? Well, if the person wasn't breathing, we would have to act very quickly. You would need to give the person chest compressions. You would also need to use a defibrillator to restart the person's heart. Can you remember seeing a defibrillator anywhere on the platform?
Yes, I know where.
Could you go and fetch it for me, Ricky, please?
Okay.
That's it. Thank you, Ricky. The defibrillators are usually locked away. To get the code to unlock them, you would dial 999 and the ambulance service would give you the code. Inside the defibrillator are two pads. Turn the defibrillator on and follow the instructions. It will tell you where to place the pads. Then it will tell you to stand away from the casualty as the defibrillator checks for a heart pulse. If no pulse is found, it will deliver an electric shock to try and restart the person's heart. You would continue with chest compressions until the person began to move or the colour of their skin improved, until the paramedics came and took over. Well, that's the last first aid skill that we're going to be learning about today. Thank you, Jill and Ricky, for helping to show these important first aid skills. Have you enjoyed it?
We've learned so much today, Rachel. Yes, we have. It's been good fun with Ruffle.
Good. Oh, that's the train to take you home. Off you go. We'll see you again soon.
Goodbye, Rachel. Goodbye, Ruffle. Goodbye, Rachel. Sorry, I forgot. Goodbye, Ruffle. Don't get into too much trouble.
We hope you've enjoyed learning about the first aid skills with us. I think you deserve a biscuit, don't you, Ruffle? Goodbye, everyone.